Hey, let's make some sourdough. So here's my starter. I started it last night. That was where it was at when I started it. That's where it was this morning, and if you can see, it's flattened out on top. It's not domed anymore, so it's not growing. So I'm gonna make 2 loaves, and I'm gonna use 125 grams each, just because I want it to go a little faster. Typically my normal bread is 100 grams, but sometimes I do 150. Mostly it's 125. All right, so I just teared my scale out. Look at all those lovely bubbles. Now I'm going to put 250 grams in here. All right, it's 262, that's okay. All right, now I'm gonna tear my scale back out, and I'm gonna do 325 grams of water. I tempt my water. I like it to be above 80 degrees, so it's 83, so that's good. So, what did I say, 325, so I'm gonna do 650. Okay, now, see it's floating in there. I don't know if you can see this. So now I'm gonna make it, mix it in, get it milky. I don't mix it on the scale because that can mess up the scale. The wiggling back and forth. So how are you today? So you want it to get, so there's no starter left hanging chunky, so see it's milky. So now I'm going to put it back on the scale, and I'm going to add 20 grams of salt. If you so I'm tearing that out. Well, first I'm going to add my flour, 1,000 grams of flour, so 500 each loaf. Tear out my scale. Got a little too much. Okay, there's 1,000. And now I'm going to do 10 grams each loaf. So I'm going to do 20 grams of salt. If I get 22, 24, that's all right. Because I've done up to 12 grams for each one. Okay, it's 22. So now I am done with the scale. And now I am just going to mix it. I like to try to get it sometimes I can mix it all with the dough whisk. One, I can always get it done with the dough whisk, but sometimes with 2, it just depends. Sometimes I have to get my hands in there because you want all of the flour bits to be wet. You don't want, chunks of flour. I think I'm gonna have to get my hands in there because I can see the flour underneath, and I hate, that's my worst, my least favorite is getting my hands in there. I don't mind it on the stretch and folds because your hands don't get quite as messy. So I am gonna have to get my hands in here. So what I'm gonna do is get the majority of the flour, of the mix off of here. And I'm going to just give my hands another rinse. I mean, I washed them before I started, but when I have to stick my hands in here, I like just to do it again. And I only use one hand when I mix. So then I'm going to take my scraper, and first I'm going to go around and try to get, so you can see how it's got the dry underneath there. I mean, I could not stick my hands in there, but the first mix, I feel like sometimes can be the most important, because even though it doesn't look like it, you're building a lot of the gluten structure, and it's not too bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick my hands in here, and all I'm doing is flipping the dough around to make sure I get all those dry bits off the bottom of the bowl. Now, if you didn't, when it proofs, when it continues to proof, all those dry bits are going to get soaked in. But this is just, if you take time right now to mix it, it just really helps the gluten network, the structure. And you can see where some of the dough is wetter than others. But like right now, I don't have any, there's no dry bits in here. So that is what I wanted to accomplish, that there are no dry bits. So what I'm going to do now is get the majority off my hands. And when I wash my hands, I will wash it in my water, what I filled my water up with. And then I'll let the bits float to the bottom, dump the water out slowly, and put all the sourdough bits will go into the trash, because you do not want that down your drain. So that's what it looks like, shaggy dough. I'm going to cover it with a tea towel, and I will be back in an hour. And all that I'm going to take and throw away. Okay, it's been an hour. This is what it looks like. It smells good. I'm going to wet my hands. I have a bowl in the sink with water in it. So I'm going to do stretch and folds. So the first time you get more folds than any other time. But if you keep your hands wet, it won't stick. So I just pull it up, stretch and fold, turn it a quarter turn. You see how high up it's coming? So the more you do it, then I'm gonna start getting resistance. You see, I can't pull it up as high now. You see how the texture of the dough is changing. Turn it again. Pull it up. You see how it's not shaggy now. I think I'm gonna do one more. And then I'm gonna cover it, and I will be back in 30 minutes. Okay, second round of stretch and folds. See how the top is got some more shape to it now. So my hands are wet, and you can see the difference in like the texture of it. So I do it at least 4 times. And if I can get 5 or 6 out of it, I will. There's 5. Let's see if I can get one more. Yeah. So it gets stronger every time. And there we go. That's it. Less than 30 seconds to take care of doing it. That's what it looks like. Be back in 30 minutes. Okay, we are on to round 3. See how much smoother it is? Look how pretty. Oh, this is when I really like it. Stretch, fold over. I've been moving this. I try to keep it in a warm place so that way it doesn't take hours and hours and hours before I'll be able to shape it later. So that was 4. Let me see if I can get another one out. I'm getting my hands wet every time because I don't want it sticking to my hands. I want the dough to stay in the bowl. So you see the elasticity of this. Look how pretty that is. All right, so we have one more stretch and fold after this. I'm going to take the temperature right now so I can see about where we're at with temp, because that will make a difference on how fast it's going to bulk. So we're at 76 degrees. So before shaping, we're going to want it to get to, I think, approximately about 75% or doubled, around there. I'll show you when we're going about it what the dough should look like before we shape it. So now we have one more stretch and fold, and I'll probably do a coil fold instead. It's a little gentler on the yarn. So we'll be on the dough. So I will be back in 30 minutes. Okay, this is the last one. So this one I'm going to do coil folds. It's gentler. Oh, the dough is it's so lovely. It's not sticky. So coil folds, you just pick up like that and then lay it down. And keep the water running. So I turn it, pick it up, and lay it down. What is that on here? So this is how I'm picking it up in there, you see? And then just set it down gentle, then turn and do it again. And you can see how the dough is smoothing out there and the bubbles. So this is the last one. I just do it, I don't know, till it feels right. That feels good. I put it in a straight-sided container so that way I can see it, see how much it grows. So the temp on the dough, it is 76 degrees. And you see where it starts. So we're going to want it to grow to this area in here. So that's probably going to take, it's 12:30. I'm going to come back 3:30-ish and look at it. So I'm going to cover this. I'm going to keep it in a warm place to help it continue to keep the temp at 76. I have it sitting in my microwave with the light on. There you go. Okay, I just took this out. This is about where it was. The temperature on this, I just checked it, is 78 degrees. I'll pull this over here so you can see this. So, that wasn't sticking. Let's see. See how it's pulling away from the side? So that's, and now it's not sticking. That's what we want. It's pull away from the side. We want it jiggly. So I'm going to do a pre-shape, and I wet the counter, and I also wet this because that's what I'm going to put it on to weigh it. So we just let it fall out naturally, and when it's ready to come out, yep, it comes out really clean. That means it's really good. There. So I am going to split this in half, or close to it. So I wet everything, wet my hands also, because it can be sticky. I'm going to tear out my scale. It's probably going to be about, I don't think that's big enough, about 950 grams each, I think. Let's see. That's weighing at 882. I knew that wasn't enough. All right, that's 956. Let's see what this one weighs. See how pretty that is? And this one is 972. So it's about, I'm gonna steal about 20 grams off there. And all right, so now I'm gonna pre-shape it and then let it relax. So all I'm gonna do, and you do not need one of these to do this. I actually used to only use my hands. But I've been using this lately. But then I end up going to my hands. So push and pull, push and pull. So this is a pre-shape. And we're just gonna let the dough relax. And let's do this one. Oops. I don't know why I started using this. I thought it helps. I don't know if it does or not. I think I like the way I can feel the dough instead. I popped a little hole in the side of that, but that's okay. All right, so now I'll show you what these look like. So they're nice and fluffy. So now we're gonna let them relax for 15, 20, 30 minutes. And I'm gonna cover them with a tea towel and then we'll come back and do the final shape. Okay, I'm sure we're running. So you see how these have relaxed a bit? I got a piece of fuzz. I have two different size bannetons here. This one's a little bit bigger. So this is gonna make the loaf not as tall because I'm gonna cook these in loaf pans. But I only have one of these. But it just makes it not as tall. So these are just lint-free towels that you don't have to use towels. You can go straight in the banneton. I don't know, I like using towels. And there are different ways that we can shape these. Let me put some, this is rice flour. Rice flour doesn't mess with your gluten that you've already got going on. Let's see. Okay, so I have another piece of lint here. So this, let's see. So I've used this because I want this smooth side. This will be the top of the bread. So we flip this over. And then we're just gonna, let's see, I'm trying to think how I want to do this. Okay, we're gonna, there's so many different ways that you can shape your dough. So I am going to, you just want to kind of roll it a little, get some tension on the top. I hope you guys can see this. I can't check that. And I'm going to show you the real easy way for the smaller one. And then I just close up the ends. And then we're going to flip this in here and I'm going to let it sit for a minute and kind of relax. Now this one, this is really easy. For this way. So you just do this, you go up, pinch them together, and then you go pinch it together and put it straight in your banneton. And then you want to take, the rice flour makes it where it won't stick to itself. So if it doesn't stick, because you got rice flour on the other side, that's okay. I'm gonna let it sit for a minute. So we're gonna cover these. I'm gonna get these big air bubbles out because I don't need those. I'm gonna put a little flour on top after these relax for a second. I'll stitch it up just a little bit tighter. See how that's kind of relaxed there? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna pull it a little tighter. I didn't do good with, like that. And then take the end of it and pull that up like that. And you don't have to worry that it's not fitting in this banneton, because when you go to make it, this thing, when you take it out of the fridge, this is gonna be full. Okay. That's good enough. I'm not too concerned about it because I'm gonna be making it in, except this is not good. I'm gonna be making it in a loaf pan, and the loaf pans are really forgiving for shaping. And that's one, well, there are a couple reasons why I'm doing the loaf pans now. One, they're just easier to cut the bread. When it comes out, you can get more of a bread slice. And two, if you're overproofed or underproofed, the loaf pans just make it really forgiving. So then I cover it just like this, and I also put a shower cap on top of it. Now, if my dough is really, really hot, I won't put the shower cap on for a while because that holds the heat in. So it's going to continue to drop in the refrigerator, and while it's dropping, it's still proofing. So that's why you take it out before it's all the way proof, because it's going to take a while to cool off in the fridge. So there you go. I'll bake tomorrow.